You might have heard that live shopping is exploding. And I have to tell you, I have been on Whatnot for a couple of weeks now, and I see why it is. Now, Whatnot is my sponsor, and they are the reason I got on the platform and checked it out. I'm glad they did. They made it easy for me. I'm going to make it easy for you. I love it. Whatnot is where you get great products without paying full price. It's that simple. I'm hooked on their live shows, too. You got to see them. They're so much fun. And I see why Whatnot has climbed to the top of the App Store. And listen, if you're selling online, or maybe you have a storefront and you're hoping people will find your listing or maybe walk in your store, Whatnot flips that, because on Whatnot, you go live and you sell directly to people in real time. And I may admit, although you didn't hear from me, I may have picked up a couple of power tools or so in the past couple of days. I'm just saying. Whatnot, it's the largest dedicated live shopping platform with beauty, collectibles, electronics, luxury, fashion, even cookies, and anyone can sell. In fact, people who sell on Whatnot sell 10 times as much as any other major marketplace. That's because you're not just listing products, you're building real connections with buyers. So whether you're shopping or you're selling, download the Whatnot app today and get free shipping on your first order. Just search WHATNOT, Whatnot, in the App Store and start scoring amazing deals. So I was whining to my wife the other day, said, I need new glasses. And she said, well, get some. I couldn't tighten them anymore. They were scratched. You know the thing, right? But I didn't want to go through the process because you have to make the appointment. You have to spend weeks to get them done. And you got to pay a fortune, right? That's real. But I did. I spent $500 on frames and glasses, and that was cheap. And then I ordered a pair from my sponsor, Zenni Optical, for $70. Zenni is an online eyewear shop, prescription glasses, sunglasses, blue light lenses, starting at under $30. You go to Zenni.com, you pick a frame, upload your prescription, and they ship it to your door. No appointment, no store, no upsell at the counter. And by the way, if you are saying, do I really need new glasses, or do I have to put up with one pair to do everything I need to do for the next 2 years? No, you can get what you want starting at under $30. And if you've never bought glasses online, don't worry about it. I haven't either. Zenni has a virtual try-on so you can see exactly how the frame looks before you commit to buying them, with no salesman looking at you saying, those look good, but these expensive ones would look better. No, you don't get that. I'm excited. I can't wait to get my Zenni glasses and tell you more about them. If your glasses are overdue for a refresh, now's the time. Go to Zenni.com/podcast and use the code podcast15 for 15% off your first order. The styles sell out, so don't sit on it. That's ZENNI.com/podcast. Promo code podcast15. How are you? All right, let's do this thing. I got to tell you, I was at the gym this morning talking to a young lady I met a couple of weeks ago. I'll tell you her story in a second about goals and continuing every single day. But for today, I want to focus, since we're talking about the gym and people probably getting in shape and losing weight, I want to talk about donuts, if I may. Donuts, hot donuts, the kind that Kristy Kreme makes, and how pilots and motorcycle guys like me get in trouble with hot donuts, but it is the same thing when it comes to setting our goals. Yeah, I'm going to figure out a way to tell you that eating a donut is a great goal. Well, not really, but hang on. We'll get there. It is a daily boost from motivationtomove.com. Every single day it's stand up, take a step, repeat. That's it. If you're sitting there right now thinking, okay, here we are on the 20-somethings of January, and I mean, the average resolution ends on January 21st. Uh-oh. Sorry. But maybe you're there and you're like, man, what was I thinking? I set a resolution. I set some goals. I went after it and it didn't happen. Well, stand up, take a step, repeat. So I was at the gym this morning and I met I'll call her a young lady. She's younger than I am, probably 50, something like that. And I met her a few days after the new year, probably the 7th of January. Got in a conversation, something I tend to do at gyms. I don't talk the whole time. I actually work out, but I talk to a lot of people. I'm just kind of that kind of guy. And I got into conversation with her and she was very frustrated. I could see it on her face. And she's like, I said, so what are you trying to do here? And well, I have 80 pounds to lose and I'm out of shape. And this hurts so bad. I just want to throw up and leave. I said, don't do that. Well, okay, go ahead and do that. Leave, but come back tomorrow and try again. And then go ahead and leave and then come back to the next day and try again. She goes, but I want to lose the weight now. And I said, well, you'll lose some now, but only if you come back tomorrow and try again. Can you do that? Well, how many days a week do I come back and do it again? I said, what do you think? Well, they say 3 days a week and then take a break. So don't listen to they. The government says most days of the week. Bottom line is, if you want to get in shape and lose weight, 7 days a week is what you do, right? That's it. A little bit at a time. You do the best you can and you come back to it. Best you can, come back to it. Best you can, come back to it. And just don't ever stop. And what happens is, before you know it, over a period of time, maybe a day, maybe a week, maybe a month, you do the best you can, come back to it. And essentially, you become the best you can be. That's it. There's 97.7% of people out there want the fast, easy fix, and most will give up the minute you give it to them. Why? Because it doesn't work. Stand up, take a sip of heat does work. If you get out of bed this morning, right now, focus on something that you want to do that's very difficult, that's taken a long time to get to, that you put off for way too long, and take a step toward it. And tomorrow, do the same thing. Watch what happens. How are you? It's me, Scott Smith, founder, chief motivating officer here at motivationtomove.com. Played my jingle a week or so, my song, right? People said they love my song. I only know that because they were in the Facebook group. Have you joined me there yet? Some really neat conversations going on. We're talking about books and reading fast the other day. I read about 600 words a minute right now. I want to get to about 1,000. So we had a conversation about that and some good book recommendations to learn to do that. If you want to participate, it's cool. Go to dailyboostpodcast.com/Facebook. Come on in and jump in and tag me so I know you want to chat with me. I like donuts. I do. Not all the time. I mean, as a kid, I used to sell donuts. I was a Boy Scout as a kid. I used to sell donuts. Saturday morning fundraisers. I think back on that time. I don't know if they still do that, but the Scoutmaster would bring a big old station wagon full of Krispy Kreme donuts and would knock on doors until we got them all sold. I haven't seen anybody do that in 30 years. But I used to do it. But I like donuts. I don't eat them all the time because I'm a fat guy, a relatively thin guy living in I'm a fat guy living in a relatively thin guy's body these days. I'll eat too many of them. But what does that have to do with goals, you say? Because the show's about goals. So look up in the air right now. If you're driving, be careful. Can you see an airplane anywhere? Depending on the day, if you see an airplane, particularly a small little airplane, maybe 1,000 or 2,000 feet up in the air, you're going to find that they're probably flying a little crooked. It really makes me wonder how pilots ever get where they want to go. But they do. They figure it out. I think they must have a great goal. In fact, most professional pilots, I know they have a goal. It's called a flight plan, and they're getting paid to do it. Here to there, come back. So they have a great goal to get there, and they're going to focus on the goal. But here's what happens when they set out on that goal. See, everything that they've been told, all the planning that's been given to them, all the planning they've done, all the experience that they may have had flying by the seat of their pants and otherwise, it changes the minute they take off. Because just like you setting a goal, you are the airplane, right? When you head off in a destination to a destination, whatever that happens to be, when you begin that journey, the winds are going to blow you off course. That's what happens to pilots. That's why planes fly crooked. That's why they turn their aircraft slightly into the wind, a wind correction they call it, to make sure they're not tracking straight ahead. That'd be easier if they could, but they're kind of flying into the wind a little bit to make sure they don't get blown off course. Have you ever felt like that when you're doing what you need to do to accomplish your goals? I set a goal. I know specifically what I want, clearly, specifically what I want. I'm going to go get it. And yet it doesn't seem the world got the memo that you set this goal about what you wanted, does it? Traffic lights stop you too often. Maybe a little road rage out there. Don't sleep well. The kids are in your face. Winds are blowing. So you set a goal, and yes, you have to be specific and take action to it, but the reality is you will get blown off course. You will need some goal correction along the way, just like pilots do. Always happens when you set a goal. You prefer a straight path. I do. I love that. If I can get from A to Z and just do it like that in one step, I want to do that. Never works that way, ever. You got to run into winds and get blown off course. So what does that mean? Well, maybe your spouse disagrees with your plans, or even worse, you think they'll disagree with your plans, so you're keeping it to yourself and not having that conversation. Just as you decided to start your side hustle. I love side hustles. It's the way you change your life. But just as you decided to do that, your boss demands more hours, or maybe worse, your boss gives you a raise and a promotion, a whole bunch more money. Cinches down those handcuffs just a little bit more, all right? Maybe your kids or your friends. Maybe you have lots of responsibilities because, gosh, you got to raise those kids. George Carlin taught us that on the AM/FM album back in the 70s. Got a kid. What are you going to do with them? Going to raise them. Wow. Not so popular to raise kids these days, but some people still do it. Still, you've got that to do, right? But every time you do that, have you noticed that sometimes it pushes you further away from your dreams and you got to keep fighting to tack back into it, like a sailboat, actually. When you think about a sailboat, how they tack into the wind. You got to keep turning into the wind to make sure you get where you want to go. And there's a problem with that. It's really tiring. But it does go on your entire life. That's how things work. So I was thinking the other day that it's time that you and I'm a pilot, so I kind of do this naturally anyway. It's a pilot flies, they call it the $100 hamburger. I think it's a $200 Krispy Kreme donut. A pilot sets a flight plan. I'm positive of this. I have researched this. I know many pilots, they set a flight plan. And in that flight plan, they say, where do you want to go? And they type in to a distant city with a Krispy Kreme donut store, specifically, though, just about to turn the hot donut sign on. There I shall fly. And as I pull up into the driveway, the sign goes on. Or if you're in Daytona Beach and you're driving a car, you can see it right here at the intersection of Nova and International Speedway Boulevard. It's loaded with motorcycles when the sign says hot donuts. So what's the lesson here? Keep an eye on your final destination. Always set a goal that factors the winds that are trying to blow you off course. Minor corrections are what is required to get where you want to go. And a lot of patience, but ultimately it comes down to stand up, take a step, repeat, notice what's blowing you off course, shift back in line, and keep on standing up, taking a step, repeating till you get there. Is that the way you want to? A lot of people, yes. Everybody wants, no, you just want it now. But I want you to be in the top 20% at least, and I prefer to push in the top 5% of folks who get what they want in life, and those people are running directly into the win and still getting it done. You can do that too. All right, join me at Facebook, dailyboostpodcast.com/Facebook. We were discussing the big-ass challenge over there, and people got all excited about that. The bag is the back. Big-ass challenge, that big thing, that overarching thing you want to do and you're willing to set and just go for it. Pay attention. I'm going to get busy on that soon. All right, I'll see you tomorrow. We have another thing coming up for you. I have no idea what it is. That's up to you. Hit me on the Facebook page, dailyboostpodcast.com/Facebook, and tell me what you want to do tomorrow. Maybe I'll do it. Or I'll make it up. Probably what's going to happen. But see you tomorrow.